everyone. My name is Faiza. I'm an intern in the Office of International Studies Abroad, and today we will be interviewing Tiffany Elamparo as a part of our Stories from Abroad interview series. So, Tiffany, feel free to tell us your full name, your majors, and your class.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany Elamparo, and I'm a senior here at USD. I'm an economics major and an English minor. And yeah, I studied abroad in Madrid, and I'm excited to detail my experience today.
Okay, great. Just to start off, what do you wish you knew before you went abroad?
One thing I wish I knew, I wasn't really completely aware of their different time schedules. So in Madrid, I heard a little bit about it before I went abroad, but I think living it and being in that schedule is a lot different from just hearing about it. So I had a host family, I had a host mom, and we would eat dinner around 9 p.m. every day. And we'd also, I remember I had an internship while I was abroad. So when we broke for lunch, that was always around 2 or 3. So just keeping that in mind was something I wish I kind of thought a little bit more about. Yeah.
Cool, wonderful. Which class was your favorite and how was it different from taking classes at USD?
I took art history in the El Prado Museum, and we got to, see the artwork up front and study it. And our professor would just, talk about the art piece. And it's such a different experience seeing art in person. And yeah, it just made my experience of studying art, especially as someone who's not a history major, not an art major, it just made it that much more valuable and memorable.
Okay, great. Nice to hear. Now, if you could tell me about a challenge you encountered that you didn't expect, how did you handle it?
A challenge that I faced while I was abroad in Madrid was initially figuring out the public transportation system. And you really need to, learn how to use the metro and learn how to use the bus station to get around in the city of Madrid. And the way I handled that was just, you know, having good time management, just leaving a little bit early for my classes or just keeping that in mind for places I wanted to go. And also just being mindful of, all the stops. And I believe there's an app on the phone for the Madrid metro stops. So that was helpful as well.
Okay, that's really helpful. I think students are going to really benefit from knowing that in the future when they go to Madrid and other places abroad. So thank you. Ooh, this is a fun one. What would your daily routine look like each day?
Okay, so let's see. On a normal weekday, I would wake up and usually my classes start around noon. So I would show up to the Madrid Center around noon. It was about 30 to 40 minutes sometimes to get from my host mom's house to the Madrid Center. So I would take the metro there, and then I would go to my classes. And then I was lucky enough to have an internship while I was abroad. So usually after I was done with my classes, I would get a bite to eat, and then I would go head off to my internship. And I would be there for a few hours, and I would grind out a few hours of work, and then I would take the metro back to my apartment with my host mom. That's what a normal day looked like. And then I'd come home, do some homework, and then we'd usually eat dinner, as I mentioned before, around 9. And actually, some host families do eat a little bit earlier than 9, but my family happened to do that. And I think that's pretty common, and that's like the normal Spain time to eat at. But sometimes, my host mom would take us swing dancing in the park because she has a group of people that she does that with, and that was a fun time, and that was a fun experience with my host mom, so we bonded through that way as well.
That's so sweet. So which moment of the trip did you say, wow, I'm in Madrid? Like, when did it register to you that you were in a completely different country? Did it happen as soon as you landed, or did you like need to adjust into it?
The moment that it really hit me that we were in Madrid is probably the night before we left for the travel seminar. And my roommate and I, we went to Puerta del Sol. We had dinner and we were just walking around and we were just seeing the people and we were listening to live music and just eating ice cream in the square. It was really then that it hit me that I was abroad and I was in a different country and I was about to have one of the best experiences in my life.
Oh,
That was so cheesy.
that was so sweet. I love that. Thank you for that explanation. How would you explain the culture in Madrid?
I feel like in Madrid, they really focus on the little things in life and they appreciate the small moments. They focus less on their work life and more on their personal life. And um, they put a great deal of value on the relationships that they have and their family life. And um, okay, this is kind of unrelated, but like you can't really wear, they all dress up there. They all carry themselves really nicely, even though they have this laid back attitude about them. They all carry themselves very nicely and they're always very dressed up. Like you wouldn't see anyone walking down the street in like athletic wear or Lululemon. Everyone would be wearing like real clothes and like nicely put together outfits. So it's interesting. It's like they're put together, but they're also quite um, relaxed about things.
Okay, that's a great answer. And I did want to ask, based off of that question, what was it like to do an internship in Madrid because of the different culture and how it impacted your work experience?
Mm-hmm. So I interned at ISD, which is the first digital business school in Spain, and I had a great experience there. It was actually the first internship that I've ever done. So it's kind of cool to say, oh, my first internship was abroad in Madrid. And um, it was interesting because, like I mentioned before, uh, their work, I guess, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like their work timeline is a little bit different. They start usually later in the day. I'd say they start around 9 and end more later in the day around like 7 or 8 instead of that normal 9 to 5 that you get in America. And they also break for lunch around 2 or 3. It would be an entire group event or company event where they're like, okay, it's time for lunch. Who would like to go to like this restaurant or something like that? So it was very much a communal thing. And there was just more time to bond with your coworkers and get to know the people that you're working with. So that's kind of how they use their time. And I really like that idea of just, eating together and getting to know more of the people outside of just a very work focused um, atmosphere. So that was nice. And at my work, they they're transitioning to be a bilingual company. Uh, but of course, there's people that still are either learning English or they just don't know English at all. So I had to use a lot of Spanish during the time that I worked there just to, build that gap and communicate with people there. And that also helps with my language skills as well, using Spanish, a language that I'm kind of okay at, and using it like very applicably to my internship.
That was great. Thank you so much. That was really helpful. I appreciate your time today. I hope all the Madrid students or any study abroad students in general who are watching this really get something out of it. Tiffany mentioned a lot of amazing specifics about Madrid, but no matter the program you go on, you'll have an amazing time. So definitely stay in contact with study abroad advisors and feel free to DM us on Instagram if you have any questions or send us an email. Thank you guys. Bye.